Keating, who's joining us from the Cape. Congressman, the continuing battle between conservationists and the fishermen on the Cape is intensifying. It's because of the critically endangered right whale named snow cone, what was released this past week after becoming entangled in rope. Fishermen here say they're being unfairly blamed since the rope isn't likely theirs, but from other sources in other parts of the country. Who's right here?
Well, we have to do something to help the right whale population. There's less than 400 left in the whole world. And in terms of females that can give birth, 100 or less. So we have to do something. The entanglement issue remains an issue. The fishermen are correct that in Massachusetts, they've done things with their lines to try and make them more easily broken. They've made those efforts. We have problems in Maine and Canada because they're not taking as strong an effort. We have to work on that. The answer will be in technology, and we have a bill that I'm an original sponsor of that will provide funds to help the fishing industry move forward with that technology. The technology's there to really solve the entanglement issue, but the expense is great on the industry, so we have to meet that so that we're not hurting one industry while we're trying to save a whale.
Do you feel the fishermen here are doing enough for what they have right now?
The key is what they have. They're doing the best with what they have. We have to give them more so the technology can be utilized and not at an expense that puts them out of business. But it's a solution that does exist, and that legislation would help.
There's a lot of controversy over a federal vaccine ID, Congressman. So let me ask you, is it necessary in this moment of history when people are eager to travel, they're trying to travel, or does it unfairly brand people when there is no universal standard of vaccine safety?
Well, interesting enough, in terms of government, most of these decisions are going to be done on the private side. It'll be private businesses, ocean liners, other means of transportation, and other hospitality and tourism sites. They'll do it because they do not want a spike that's going to ruin the progress that's made on getting them back and reopened. So the government won't play as big a role as the private side in this, but in terms of visas and travel, you're going to see it from other countries, and you're going to see it with us as well. So there's a government side of this that I think you'll see this utilized. You're seeing it utilized in Europe right now to some extent. You'll see it utilized here. Does it unfairly brand people that have a vaccine or don't? Well, the reality is government's not going to control most of those decisions. And certainly, I hope people will be vaccinated because I think back to my school days, early school days when vaccination was required.
Right. Yeah, I remember. So just to be clear, are you, as the congressman, are you for a federal vaccine ID or against one? Just having or you, what do you think?
I think it should be, if it's one means of making it available so private industry as well as government visas and things can be utilized, yes, I think it could be helpful to have a standardized one so there's not counterfeiting or all kinds of other things that could occur.
Congressman, thank you so much for your time. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, all the best, and to a new grandmother, congratulations.
Thank you. Word is getting out. I appreciate it.
Suddenly her granddaughter is going to be the biggest star in this show, Congressman. It's great to have you with us. Take care.
Always that way. All right.
Right, and it should always be that way. Our thanks to Congressman Bill Keating for joining us this morning on The Record. The Sunday Roundtable is next. Marty Walsh has a seat at the cabinet table. Is he ready to sell President Biden's infrastructure plan? That and more still ahead.